Hello student, this is Latif sir. Today I'll discuss about Icse class 7 chemistry. The topic is physical and chemical changes. In the previous video I have already discussed about what is a change, different types of physical changes, different types of chemical changes. huh. Beside these changes, there are some other types of changes are like man-made and natural, desirable, undesirable, exothermic, endothermic. These type of changes you have not learned till now. So today I'll discuss about this type of changes in terms of differences. So let's start. So first, again I want to repeat what is a change. Change is a fundamental law of nature. A change is a transformation of a substance from one form to another. Different types of changes happen around us, such as sunrise, sunset, day, night, growth of plant, growth of body, construction of building, construction of road, melting of ice. All these are changes. Okay, so today we will learn about different types of changes. So see, types of changes. The changes we see around we see around us can be categorized or classified in many ways. Changes can be natural or man made, slow or fast, periodic or non periodic, physical or chemical, desirable and undesirable. Among these changes, only physical and chemical changes we have already learned. Okay, today I will discuss about the rest types of changes. Okay. So first, natural and man-made change. What is the natural? The change that occurs naturally is called a natural change. Again, I am repeating, the change that occurs naturally is called a natural change. For example, formation of cloud and rain, snowfall, etc. Natural change. And man-made change, a change that occurs due to the action of human beings, is called a man-made change. For example, cooking of food, construction of road, building, etc. Second type of changes, slow and fast changes. Slow change and fast change. So what is a slow change and a fast change? A slow change, a change that occurs over a long period of time. That's those changes takes a long period of time to complete are called slow changes. And a fast change, a change that occurs over a very short period of time. A change that occurs over a short period of time is called fast change. Example of slow change, growth of plant, growth of our body, ripening of fruit, rusting of iron. These are example of slow change. An example of fast change, burning of cracker, burning of fuel, etc. are example of fast change. Next type of changes, periodic change and non-periodic change. Periodic change, a change that is repeated after a regular interval of time. So those changes repeated after a regular interval of time are called periodic changes. So a periodic change is a change that is repeated after a regular interval of time is called a periodic change. And non-periodic change is a change that is not repeated after a regular interval of time is called non-periodic change. Example of periodic change of season, rotation and revolution of earth, etc. are example of periodic change. And non-periodic change, example of non-periodic changes are occurrence of earthquake, cyclone, thunder and lightning, etc. are example of non-periodic changes. The changes which are not repeated after a regular interval of time are called non-periodic changes. Okay. Now physical changes. I think you have already learned about physical and chemical changes. Again, today I'll give the difference between the physical and chemical changes. Okay, so physical change is a change in which the chemical composition of a substance remain unchanged is called a physical change. Again, I am repeating. A change in which the chemical composition of a substance remain unchanged is called a physical change. While in chemical change, a chemical change is a change in which the chemical composition of the substance changes is called a chemical change. So main point is, in physical change there is no change of chemical composition of the substance, but in physical change there is no change of composition of the substance, chemical composition of the substance. But in chemical change there is a change in chemical composition of the substance. Okay, so next point, in physical change no new substance is formed, while in chemical change new substance is formed. Generally, chemical change means chemical reaction in which one or more substance undergoing in a change to form one or more new compound. Those are called product, and the substances undergoing the chemical change are known as reactant. Okay, so in physical change, no new substance is formed, but in chemical change, a new one or more new substances may be formed. Third point, most of physical changes are reversible. Most of physical changes are reversible, while most of chemical changes are irreversible. An example of physical changes: melting of ice, dissolution of sugar, boiling of water, etc. An example of chemical changes are curdling of milk, cooking of food, etc. Next type of changes: reversible change and irreversible change. Reversible change is a change that can be reversed by reversing the condition of the condition that brought the change is called reversible change. In one word, you can say reversible changes are those changes which can be reversed by changing the condition of this change. Okay. Huh. So, reversible change is a change that can be reversed by reversing the conditions that brought the change is called reversible change. While irreversible change is a change that cannot be reversed is called an irreversible change. Those changes cannot be reversed by changing condition are known as irreversible changes. Generally, reversible changes are indicated by a double arrow. You can see in the uh, first bracket, within first bracket, it is given double arrow or a double sided arrow. It is also given. And irreversible, while irreversible changes are indicated by a single sided arrow. So, the reversible changes are represented by double sided arrow, while irreversible changes are represented by single sided arrow. Example of reversible change: melting of ice, huh, boiling of water, dissolution of sugar in water. These are reversible change. And irreversible changes, example of irreversible changes are: an egg gets cooked on heating. Huh, so, or cooking of food are example of irreversible change. Next type of class changes: exothermic change and endothermic change. First, exothermic change. Exothermic change is a change in which energy is released in the form of heat is called exothermic change. So, in those changes which accompanied by the uh, release of heat are called exothermic change, or a change in which energy is released in the form of heat is called an exothermic change. An endothermic change is a change in which energy is absorbed in the form of heat is called endothermic change. So in exothermic change, energy released in terms of heat, and in endothermic change, energy absorbed in terms of heat. Hmm. Example of exothermic change: burning of fuel, condensation of steam, etc. are example of exothermic change. And endothermic change, example of endothermic change: melting of ice, making cooking of food, etc. are endothermic change. And the last type of classification of uh, changes is desirable and undesirable change. Desirable change and undesirable change. So desirable change, what is the desirable change? A change that is useful to us is called a desirable change. A change that is useful to us is called desirable change. Example: curdling of milk for making cheese, ripening of fruit. These are desirable change. And undesirable change, a change that is harmful to us, is called an undesirable change. A change that is harmful to us is called an undesirable change. Okay, example of undesirable change: burning of finger, rotting of fruits. These are example of undesirable changes. Okay, thank you.